Hey, Mai, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You had two turnovers in the first quarter. That was probably something that bothered you. The rest of the game, you had one turnover, had 11 assists, three turnovers in the game. Really dictated the offense well. It seemed like. How'd you kind of assess how you came out and played tonight in your first game of the season?
Just being a point guard is just very important that I make sure I get my teammates involved. Just making sure that everything flows right, and I don't know. I just take pride in my passing. I take pride in getting assists and just setting my teammates up to make their job easier. And so that's just something that I take on with great pride. The coaches are on me very hard about turning the ball over, and I'm pretty hard on myself about turning the ball over as well. Not happy with the two early and then three to end the game, but I'll take my career assist any day. So.
All right, Stefan, go ahead.
Maya, they shot, I believe it was 52% from the field in the first quarter, and they finished around 30%. What do you feel you guys did, especially there in that second quarter, kind of set the tone defense?
I just think that we huddled up together and we just said that we just need to tighten up. We were over helping and a lot of things just took place. And just credit to Alabama State, they shot the ball fairly well. 50% is really well, actually. And so we just made sure that we focused on our defense more. And so I think once we did that and once we started talking and just getting our rotations down packed, I think that's when we kind of locked in.
All right, Andy, go ahead.
Maya, you're playing in a backcourt with a couple of transfers, Anastasia Hayes especially. What do you kind of notice from her so far? I mean, you haven't played with her that long, but what kind of stands out to you about her and your connection with her?
Just a very athletic guard. If they can get to her spots, get downhill, get to the basket anytime she wants. She has a great eye for the court as well, so she'll be able to drive and kick it out. And so I just think that just being able to play with her this year is just a very honor. She's a very great player, and I just think that she's going to do really good things this year with us.
All right, Tanner.
Hey, Maya, great game tonight. Obviously, Coach wanted to get out and run against this team. At least that's what he told us on Monday. You guys obviously were able to do that. 23 fast break points tonight. Walk me through kind of what you guys were seeing, jumping passing lanes and stuff like that.
I think we just focused on our basics this week leading up to this game. We focused heavily on defense, being in the right positions, deny, being in help, guarding the high-low. And so that's something that we've just trying to find an identity about ourselves as far as on the defensive end. And so then just once our defense leads into our offense, and so just getting the ball out, pushing the ball, going downhill, reading the plays as is, and it's kind of freelance, which I'm very glad he gives us the opportunity to make reads, which is very fun to play with, and so we just trying to get that chemistry together. So, yeah.
All right, we got time for a few more. We'll go to Robbie and Andy and finish up with Stefan. Robbie, go ahead.
Mike, kind of expounding on what you just said about the offense. I mean, I've only been with Coach Novak for a month or so. He's only been leading this team. How comfortable are y'all, do you feel like, in his scheme and what he's doing offensively and defensively as a unit? I mean, and also you have a lot of new faces out there as well. As you and Ricky are the only returners out there on the floor. How comfortable do you feel like y'all are right now?
I just think that everybody's just buying into what Coach Doug is telling us on offense and defense and just trusting in his style of play. He's very big on we don't have sets, we have actions, and so just putting those actions together and just learning those actions. And it's very hard to guard because there's so many different actions. Like I said, it's not a set play, so it's kind of hard to scout. And so just trusting in that. Working on it every day in practice, different scenarios, mixing things up with different lineups, and just things like that. But all of it is just trusting Coach Doug, Coach Malika, Coach Eddie, Coach Bob, just all of them. They're just so great as far as what they're trying to do for this program.
Hey, Matt, how much focus is there on the guards to crash the boards? Obviously, not a lot of size for this team, but you guys are pretty even rebound-wise.
We pretty much know who on our team is, even though we're kind of undersized, but we pretty much know who gets in good position, our bigger guards that are able to crash. And so we always, send 3 to the board, 2 back for help. Just trusting in them, just being in the right spot, just playing hard. Most of it just comes from playing hard. And so I think if we do that, we'll put ourselves in a great position.
I know sorry, Maya, I know you guys haven't really known Coach Doug for that long, but to be able to get him his first win here, he came in under some tough circumstances. What's that mean for you guys?
I mean, it means a lot. Like I said, we trust Coach Doug and his coaching staff to just come in and just work with what we have. I think he just done an amazing job of just putting everything together. I mean, all of it is trust, and I just think we go out there and we play hard for him, play hard for the coaching staff, and play hard for each other. And definitely for the fans. Shout out to the fans today as well. Can't forget about them.
Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Ricky, you've been playing kind of all over the floor a little bit, the 5-4. How do you like that versatility, kind of the option to kind of float around a little bit and impact the game in different areas?
I like it a lot. It gives me the ability to showcase every aspect of my game. I feel like it doesn't just put me in a box, and I feel like it makes it easier for me to get the ball to my teammates because defenders don't know where I'm going to be. Like, we don't even call out plays. It's more so like actions, and I feel like it really helps us a lot.
All right, Stephon, go ahead.
Maya was kind of saying, and Doug Novak echoed this, in terms of the way you guys run the offense. Guards get the ball and look to push right away. You guys are pretty free with how you move. I mean, what's that like kind of being in that offense when you're constantly just running up and down the floor looking to score?
I feel like it's fun, We just go at our pace, fast pace. I feel like that's fun basketball, getting the ball up the floor, our big ceiling. I just feel like that's really fun basketball opposed to, getting down the court, setting up, and getting a chance for the defense to set up. Like, we want to get it and go. So I like it a lot. I think it's fun.
All right, we'll go over to Robbie next. Robbie?
Hey, Rakia. It came out really strong in the exhibition game. Came out tonight the same way at 9 points in the first quarter, I think 18 in the first half. Just really seemed to be locked in early on in the season. What do you feel like's been working for you in the first 2 times you've been out on the floor?
I would just have to say practice. I feel like I've been taking practice a lot more serious this year. Working on the little things that help me stay balanced. Biggest thing was my balance, and it's still getting better each and every day. It's not where I want it to be yet, but I feel like my main thing was my balance and my confidence on my shots and things of that sort. I feel like I don't get down on myself even if I miss a shot now because I know the next one's going in because I've worked for it this whole preseason. So yeah, I would have to say that.
If I can follow up on that, you talked about taking practice more seriously. What do you think's been the difference for you to kind of flip that switch?
I would have to say just me finally accepting a leader role. People always say you're a leader even if you don't want to be, and I feel like previous years I just was not ready to step into that role, whether people followed me or not. But I feel like I'm actually, trying to be that leader for this team, and I feel like we need it. Without leadership, it's not going to be a great season. So I feel like, with the help of me and Maya, helping the new people, because, we've been here. So I feel like that definitely correlates to the game, too.
All right, we got time for a few more. We'll go to Tanner. Go ahead, Tanner.
Hey, Rakia. Coach talked about how he wants this offense to be really wide in terms of motion. Is that something you, as a scorer, have kind of enjoyed so far?
Definitely. I'm so used to teams just sitting in the middle of the floor and only can shoot the ball, I like to drive the ball too, so I feel like it just, like I said, it gives the ability for me to kick it out to my teammates if need be, not everyone stacked on top of each other. So, we use the whole floor. We're not just using half of the floor. We get up there. So I feel like it just creates more driving lanes, more gaps. It's harder for defenders to, come over, because if they come over, then I can just kick it to my teammate, knock down a shot. So I feel like that's fun too.
Good deal.
All right, and we'll finish up with Stephon and Andy. Stephon, you go ahead and go first.
Obviously, the circumstances for Doug Novak to kind of step in, so soon after joining the team as interim head coach. What's it mean for you guys, after this past month to get out here and get a win for him?
It means a lot because we'll tell you, the first day Coach Doug coached us in practice, it felt like he's been here forever. It didn't feel like, oh, he's new. Like, he came in, he's vocal. I think everybody just noticed he had a great basketball mind from day one. Like, it wasn't like, let's do this. It was just like, okay, here, all right, here. Like, he knew what he was doing from day one. So it just felt like he's been here forever. So it just means a lot. And we know how hard he works. And we're his first female team. So I know we be stressing him out. I know we be stressing him out. But it means a lot to definitely get him this win. It really does.
All right, go ahead and finish us off, Andy.
Doug's talked a little bit about like finding an identity, and I guess you guys haven't totally found it yet. But when he talks about that, what exactly is that identity that he wants to find in your eyes?
I feel like we have to create it ourselves, but we have to do the little things, and we have to find it within ourselves. Can't nobody just come up and be like, you need to be this type of team. We have to do it on our own. I feel like there's different identities within a team, but I feel like we haven't figured ours out yet. But I feel like as the season progresses, we will definitely figure it out. But I know we want to get the ball up the floor for sure. But on the defensive side, we're still learning and we're still finding it. And I feel like it will come really quickly.
Coach, it's been kind of a wild month or so for you and the girls and your staff. How did it feel to get this first win under your belt?
It felt like every other win that I've ever had in my career, to be honest with you. It's just one game. I felt great about our win in practice yesterday. I felt great about our win in our game day practice. The hump is an amazing place to play, and I know it's just getting started. And what's been done here is a pretty cool thing. I am very humbled to be a part of it right now. I'm not trying to downplay the winning part of it, because that's what we're out here for, and we all want that. But we're fighting for so much more right now in terms of how we're going to play, the identity, and we've shown like just bits and pieces of it, and we just need to keep it going a little bit longer, as we face some tougher teams. But it's very rewarding. But when you're in the middle of everything, and right now I just feel like we're in the middle. I feel like I've been here for 20 years with this team, in terms of how much we've gone through and how much we're working on developing as a team. That I don't feel new. This doesn't feel like a new environment. It just feels like we got a job to do.
All right, Stefan, go ahead.
I know we talked a lot about Rakia and kind of what she brings to this team, but behind her the last couple of games with that exhibition, Anastasia Hayes has kind of stepped up in that number 2 scorer for you guys. What have you kind of seen from her as a transfer to be able to come in so quick and make this type of impact?
Yeah, and I know Rakia gets a lot of attention, and she should. And like I've said before, she's such a good player that she commands, a defender and a half at all times. It's just, to be honest with you, we're not running anything for Rakia right now. It's just the game of basketball and what's appearing. We'll put her in some alignments where it's really hard. If you're not going to help off of her, one of our guards is going to score a layup. But there are multiple scorers out there, and there are multiple passers. And when we're at our best, that ball is humming around, and Rakia might get it on the first side, and then she's going to get it on a third side, and she's going to be wide open, and she's going to be able to make the play for herself or someone else. So it's not, again, it's the best players, the best scorers are going to get the most shots. That's just the way it is, and that's the way most good teams are. But, I've said this before, if we just say we're going to isolate Rakia against the league or against good teams, like, she's not going to have any fun. And we're not going to have any fun. And it's going to be hard for her to make someone else better. And that's what she does. She can score it, but she also can make someone else better. And then you throw in an Annie with there. Well, she's doing the same thing. And she made, some unbelievable plays in transition, kicking out to 3 for Jerkala in the corner. She's a big-time scorer. She could have taken the shot, but she passed it. And so that's what we're fostering here. And we know our roles, and we know who can do what, and we're trying to play to those strengths.
All right, Tanner, go ahead.
Coach, you talked to us Monday about wanting to use a smaller lineup, kind of get out in transition. 23 fast break points tonight. Obviously, that was accomplished. Just how good was it to see that in the first game out as a head coach?
Yeah, I mean, that feels good because, I mean, that's what we want to do, and that's part of our identity. But part of it, too, is winning that possession game. And so we kept it about even with the rebounding. I think we might have lost that one a little bit. And some of that we started leaking out. So we're trying to seek those fast break points too much, and we didn't secure the ball. But the other part is that we're going to play fast, and we can take care of the ball. So 18 assists and 6 turnovers, that's a big deal because now we're winning a possession game. That allows us to miss a few threes. That allows us to get more shots on the rim than the opponent.
All right, Andy, go ahead.
Hey Doug, obviously Jasmine Shaver has entered the transfer portal. What does that kind of do for the depth in the backcourt? It looks like you still got a lot of options between everyone you have out there, but what does it kind of do?
Yeah, that's, I'm sad because I really like Jasmine, and it was, she had a fun smile, a nice smile every time she came to practice. She just felt it was in her best interest to maybe transfer somewhere else. But in terms of depth, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of people that could have been here, should have been here, all those things. I don't really focus on it at all, and as a team, we don't either. It was just who we have. And hopefully who we have is changing daily because of how we're developing and how they're growing as people and how they're growing as players. So, yeah, it's sad because I do like her, but at the same time, it's our focus is on the people that are on that floor.
All right, Robbie, go ahead.
Coach, I know from an execution standpoint that it might be hit or miss, as you get your system implemented and you start to work with the players and a lot of things. But I know with effort, anybody can give effort at any point in time. Did you feel like your players were really good in that regard in game one?
I thought they were pretty good, and I thought in spurts it was fantastic. You could tell the defensive intensity. And when we started the game, I thought we were a little bit hesitant. I thought we were reacting to what they were doing. We were kind of guessing. And whenever you're in a reacting mode, you're not going to move as fast. And then we started dictating how we're guarding the ball. We started putting our hand on the ball. We started disrupting their vision and timing. And I think we held them to maybe 8 points in that second quarter, something like that. But anyway, we stopped reacting. And then there was just a tiny stretch where we started looking at the scoreboard and not really focusing on our standard of play and how we want to execute and all that. And, I hate to say it, that is normal. I don't want that to be normal for us. We're up 20, we're down 20. It doesn't matter. I mean, we want to be so tough that regardless of the score, how we play this game matters.
All right, Joe, you're up.
Doug, the other day on Monday, you were talking about you wanted it to be like going to the dentist for opponents to play Mississippi State. Is it fair to say at points in time in this game, you kind of felt like you were close to the roadmap of what you want this team to be? And I know that probably for the full 4 quarters, you wouldn't say that, but were there points in this game where you were like, yes, that's our roadmap, that's who I want us to be this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's some things over the past week, and none of the fans would notice this, but there are little things that we're working on how to make a pass across the floor, how to swing the ball from guard forward, and it barely touches your hands, and we got cutters coming off of things. And so there were glimpses of it. I really like Belichick with the Patriots, and he's got a thing that says, do your job. And then I add to it a little bit, do your job as long as you can. So it's not, we've never arrived. We don't have it. 3 most dangerous words, I got it. No, we don't. It's just do it over and over again. And so each day we're trying to do it longer. There's stretches that we have. Yeah, I thought we were doing it hard to guard. We were just pests on defense. But how long can we do it? How long can we sustain it? Can we take a hit in the mouth? Like 52%, that's a little bit of a hit in the mouth, and they're knocking down some shots, and maybe we didn't have enough defensive pressure or blocking out or leaking out, and then we shored that up, and then we showed some toughness, and we did that for a fairly long time before we started looking at the scoreboard a little bit.
All right, Robbie, go ahead.
Coach, you got a team coming up that has been really good for a long time, been either in the NCAA tournament or on the verge every single year. What have you seen from South Dakota State so far, and what are you kind of expecting from them when they come here on Friday?
I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, we have a coach that's been scouting for the last week on them. I will look at them for the first time tonight, late into the night, and then tomorrow, and putting together a game plan. But I know of South Dakota State. They are a fantastic program. And again, I grew up in South Dakota, so I know what that means to them. I know what that means to the state. And they've had a lot of success coming into Minnesota and getting some of the really good players out of Minnesota and the Fury programs and the North Tartan programs. And so I have a lot of respect for their program, what they've been able to do. And we take basketball serious at Mississippi State and the Hump. Well, they do too, in a different way in their venue. It's pretty crazy there too.
All right, we got time for a couple more. We'll go to Andy, then finish with Tanner. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Doug, we didn't see Mia Moore or Laisha Hayes. I think we didn't see them in the exhibition game either. Do you kind of have an update on what their status is and when they might be back in the fold?
No, that's just straight with the athletic trainer and the medical staff, and so that's day to day. That's all I've got for you on that one.
All right, go ahead and wrap us up, Tanner.
Coach, Maya mentioned this offense being a little more read heavy than what she's played in before. Is that something that you guys are looking to do more of going forward? Can you kind of go a little bit in depth on what she means by that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of layers that we could put on to it, depending on what their skills are telling me or telling the coaching staff on a daily basis. But we can play out of scrambles. So, for instance, we'll play a lot of possessions. We'll put them all in one corner, and then we'll put the defenders all in the paint. I'll just throw the ball up, and you'll play out of that scramble. And so, just a couple concepts. How do we play when the ball's at the top and somebody's in the corner? How do we play when the ball's on the wing and we have an offensive player up top? So it's reading that defender. If we have an advantage, we're going to get right to the rim. If we don't, we might bounce it out and get into another action without me calling it. So there are some things as we get better, because we do need, come crunch time, you've got to have a couple pet actions where you're going to get your best scores together. I've probably delayed that a little bit more than I have in the past because I didn't want them looking over at me all the time for the answer. I wanted them to work on the solutions themselves. And I think we're getting better as we go in kind of teaching them what to see. There are times when you're trying to see everything, you see nothing. And when you look at very little, which would be the rim, you can see a lot. So we want wide motion, but we really have pretty narrow vision of where our gaps are or where the cutters may be. And so that's kind of how we do it conceptually. Wide motion, narrow vision, as opposed to, a flex. A flex would be narrow motion, actually narrow motion and narrow vision. Motion, offense, the old Bobby Knight stuff, screening all over the place. Wide motion, wide vision. And so you got to be a pocket passer and all that stuff. And the game's kind of changed from that. It is a little bit more up and down and more ball screens. And we can set ball screens if we want or not, depending on how you're going to defend it.